nationals in Australia. Now, 2 Chinese nationals have been charged with foreign interference in Australia for allegedly gathering information about the Canberra branch of a Buddhist group, Guan Yin Sita, on behalf of a Chinese government security agency. The pair, aged 25 and 31, are set to appear in court today, making them the 4th and 5th individuals charged under Australia's foreign interference laws. The charges follow an investigation that started last year with help from the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation. This comes amid growing concerns over foreign influence and security in Australia, with each defendant facing up to 15 years in prison. Collins, another time when a country is leveling charges of surveillance and foreign interference on Chinese individuals, we'd seen earlier reports from the United Kingdom and now from Australia, similar cases emerging. How do you think China is going to tackle the developments?
Yeah, both sides want to be careful with it because we've seen how recent momentum has been encouraging, from the past couple of years now, and since this trade normalization after the 2020 to 2022 tariff disputes and these frosty ties before that, and but we have seen how with this in place, this is also a signal that Australia is also moving from risk mitigation phase to one of more active deterrence in terms of capacity, in terms of readiness to act. There's also this shift from defensive rhetoric into more action-based, action-oriented results on the ground, to send also a strong message to China that these actions will not be tolerated, and to also galvanize domestic trust and confidence and support in terms of maintaining and ensuring the national interest and safety and security of Australia as a whole. So we have also seen how this greater intelligence efforts, and in terms of intelligence confidence in this attribution, and also the readiness by Australia to accept some kind of diplomatic fallout from Beijing. Of course, we will expect Beijing to respond, to deny these allegations, and to accuse Australia of being tied into this bloc mentality of Cold War, bloc narrative and Cold War mentality, and as a politicization of this issue. But we have seen how this is a strong stance being projected, that Australia is still standing as a frontline democracy in strengthening the Western world in terms of this overall strategic competition with China. And of course, the US, Japan, and India will be also watching closely as part of the Quad members, and how Australia is using these legal frameworks, which have now been seen to be mature enough, to be aligned enough to prosecute these cases rather than just investigating. And of course, also this is also a strong signal also from the framework to China.
Collins, what do we know about the Canberra Buddhist Association, which they are saying that this is a group that they were using to get more details and spy on?
Well, we've seen how this. I don't think this is a precedent. We have seen that before, and especially with the case of Australia, different efforts have been used, different tools have been used, from economic retaliation, from economic tools, and of course also this will also invite counterclaims and arguments, and of course this is now being seen as a national security issue, and for sure there will be different interpretations, and but I don't see that happening, at least domestically in Australia. We have seen how both sides of the aisle will also want to consolidate on this issue to strengthen and to protect the sanctity of sovereignty of Australia as a whole, and to China that despite efforts to strengthen economic ties on the security domain, on the security sphere, and on the sensitive political issues, red lines are still in place, and that there's no tolerance on this kind of behaviors or efforts as part of the influence-seeking activities by other countries, especially by China. And we foresee that Australia will continue to take this hardened stance independently from the parallel focus also on strengthening overall ties. But of course, this will not be compromised at all levels, and I think this is a message being sent now by the current administration.
All right. What do we also know about the pair? It was a 25-year-old and a 31-year-old who were gathering these information. They're now facing a 15-year sentence. What kind of interjection can China now put here?
Well, it remains to be seen as to the extent of the the willingness of China to be involved deeply in this case. And of course, he is also facing a very tight situation, a dilemma also for Beijing, to escalate further, which will risk further straining of ties between both nations, which will also have negative spillover impact, and or to double down hard, and of course also to use other tools, including on trade, on economic platforms which have been used before against Australia, which will then risk further retaliation for Australia as a whole. And then we have this endless cycle of ups and downs in these frosty ties, and also you galvanize the entire mechanism of other nations aligned to Australia, including Quad. But to be seen as doing nothing, then will then risk further drawbacks in terms of the efficacy and willingness of China to to stand up for itself, and to accuse and to use this as a pretext to accuse the West of politicizing this matter. So I foresee that there will be responses from Beijing, but stopping short of an outright total or wholesome actions being taken that will risk further ties with Australia, seeing how important that will be in terms of the Australia being part of the overall frontline mechanism by the US especially, and with regards also to the impact of Australia geographically in terms of checkmating China's move in the Indo-Pacific, especially in Southeast Asia, with regards to the the AUKUS bases in Perth and in different places.
Now, a warning has also been issued from the ASIO Director General that's been given to the AFP and Counter Foreign Intelligence Interference Task Force last year, and it says that multiple foreign regimes are monitoring, harassing and intimidating members of our diaspora community. It's important, Collins, given that the Bondi aftermath that Australia is going through. How do you view the strong responses now to foreign meddling or interference that Australia is looking at, because immigration came up as a big concern following the shooting at Bondi?
Well, certainly it adds to the overall momentum and the active awareness realization, and of course the understanding from the part of the Australian public to have more awareness and the willingness also to confront these issues, especially with the recent terrorist incident in Bondi. And we have seen how this has synergized the whole notion of defending strongly the core interests of Australia, and to ensure that the public confidence and public trust on the institutions to defend the sanctity and the interests of the nation as a whole. And of course, this is a continuation from that incident, and definitely, and this is not the first time, however, for Australia to take hardened measures to protect its own interests and security. But we have seen how the readiness of the current administration also to ensure that there's no slip-throughs, and there's no gap being left open to any potential future attempts that will risk the future safety and security of the nation and the people as a whole. And hence we have seen how these measures are in place to instill greater institutional confidence and to get the needed public support from the whole nation.
All right, Collins, we also are getting some reactions now from Beijing. Beijing viewers has urged Australia to